Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different from what has previously been posted on my channel. We're going to be talking about the Enhanced ACT. Basically, if you don't know what that is, it's the changes that the ACT has recently made to their exam that are going to go into effect this upcoming September in the next exam. So this is kind of a hot topic for all juniors and seniors who plan or must take the ACT, whether that's they want to go to college or it's just a standardized exam that everybody in their state has to take. Basically, today I'm going to be going over all the changes that they recently made and everything that you need to know about this Enhanced ACT. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. So like I said, the changes are going to be starting in September. What's kind of overall happening, we're getting a reduced question total, reduced questions. We're getting a reduced time, kind of total amount of time that you're taking the exam, reduced time. It's going from about a 4-hour exam to a little bit less than 3 hours. So we're getting a significant decrease in the total amount of time you'll actually be sitting for the exam. There have been some changes to the format of the exam as well. The typical 5 categories of the ACT are still there. We still have English, math, reading, science, and then the writing at the end, which if you've taken the ACT before or you've heard of the ACT in some capacity, you may know that the writing exam was optional. It is still optional. But in addition, the science exam is also optional. So what this means is the normal ACT exam is taken out of a score of 36 by taking the average of the 4 not optional questions. But now with the Enhanced ACT, only the English, reading, and math will be combined to get your average of 36 overall points. So big change number 1 that's happened, the science test has now become optional. Another thing that has been changed is the actual amount of questions on each individual test. So in the old English exam, you would have 75 questions in 45 minutes, but now they've reduced that to 50 questions in 35 minutes. So you're getting slightly longer per question, which can be useful, but you're not actually getting the total 45 minutes. You're getting a reduced amount of time, so the English exam has been reduced. The math exam has also gone from 60 questions in 60 minutes. So it used to be 1 minute per question. Now it is 45 questions and 50 minutes. So you're getting slightly longer on the math exam as well per question. You're getting a shorter total exam, but you're getting more time per question, which I think is a great improvement for the math exam. Because I know a lot of students where the math was a large time crunch and they weren't able to get to the later questions. Now with the reduced number of questions, you're gonna have a little bit of extra time at the end to go back and check your work. The reading exam has also been changed. It previously was 40 questions in 35 minutes. Now it is 36 questions in 40 minutes. So you're actually getting a increased amount of time. So we're going up in the amount of time, but we're lowering the questions. So reading will become easier for those of you who like to spend a little bit more time actually reading the passage, right? Readings can get a lot easier for you. Okay. The science exam has also been changed. Previously, it was 40 questions, and that has not altered. It is still 40 questions, but the amount of time given to you has gone up from 35 minutes to 40 minutes. So they're keeping the same amount of questions for the science exam, but they're giving you a little bit of extra time. When I took my ACT, the science exam was a little bit of a time crunch while I was practicing. So this is kind of a massive improvement for students like me who wanted a little bit more time to analyze the data and check their work. So the English, math, reading, and science exams have changed. The writing exam has stayed the same. It's still 1 essay for 40 minutes. A lot of students choose not to take this exam, however, so if this is not super relevant to you, don't worry about it. But yeah, so these are kind of the overall questions and minute time changes. There's a little bit more information that I want to cover before ending this video. Within each exam, there are slight differences. So the English exam, if you remember or have taken it before, used to be 5 passages and 15 questions in each passage, totaling a total of 75. Now it's 6 passages that are shorter and have either 5 or 10 questions per passage. So it's no longer perfectly consistent, 15 every time. There are 2 passages on the English exam that are now 5 questions and 4 passages that are 10 questions, giving you a total of 50. So that's change number 1. The total number of passages is increased, but they themselves have decreased. I should also add that the level of difficulty in the content discussed in each of the 5 sections is exactly the same, right? The only thing that is really changing is the number, the format, and the time of the exam. So if you've been preparing for the ACT for a while with the old format, do not worry at all, because the content you've been reviewing, the strategies you've been reviewing are exactly the same. The only difference is the amount of time you'll have on each exam. Okay, so that's the English exam. The math exam is pretty self-explanatory. It's still 45 questions. They do get harder as they go along. So remember, just like in the last ACT, so question 1 is going to be objectively easier than question 45 here. But you do have a little bit of extra time, so I would recommend on those more difficult questions, maybe not skipping questions as often, and now going and spending a little bit of extra time to get the difficult ones right. So the reading exam has also been changed. This one isn't as drastic a change as the English exam, but it is now, it used to be 4 passages and 10 questions each in each passage. 10 questions each. But now it's still 4 passages, but it's just 9 questions each. And this is standardized, unlike the English exam. So it's still 4 passages, 9 questions each. Not big, that big of a change. Another thing that's important for you to know about the reading passages, they have been shortened slightly. They are on average about 80 lines now, as opposed to the 90 or 95 line old reading passages. So the passages themselves have shortened. The difficulty of the read has stayed the same, but the number of questions and the length of the passage has shortened. And you're getting an additional 5 minutes for the test overall, giving you an additional about 1 minute per passage, which is great for students who struggle with that time crunch aspect. And then finally, we have the science exam, which I mentioned earlier is now optional. And I'll discuss what I think about that later for whether or not you should actually take it. But the science exam has stayed basically the same as it did previously. It's 6 to 7 passages and 5 to 6 questions each, or 5 to 7 questions per passage. The content, like I said, is exactly the same. No need to worry if you've practiced in the past. The writing exam, we're not going to discuss it too much. It's still 1 essay about 1 topic that you get to choose from several options, and you still have 40 minutes to write it. So that's kind of all of the general content that I wanted to cover. I did also want to talk about this optional science exam. So if you're trying to decide whether or not you should take the science exam, if you want to go to college and have colleges look at your ACT scores, whether or not you want your science exam added in, I would recommend this. I would start by saying the default should be that you take the science exam. The science exam has been a part of the ACT for a while, and colleges have used it as a metric to help them understand kind of where you lie as a student. If science is not one of your better subjects, say if it's one of your worst subjects, I would still recommend trying to focus on it and practice, but I would not say emphasize it as heavily as the English, math, or reading exam, because those 3 are still required exams that will factor into your overall test. I would say that the science exam is going to be kind of in between the writing exam and the other 3 required exams, where it doesn't seem as important, but is still more important than that writing exam. And I think other than that, it's going to be up to you to kind of decide where you lie and how good you are at the science passages in the science section. As always, continue to practice and keep working on your ACT before you take this exam. This format comes out in September, like I mentioned at the beginning. I just want to reiterate that. So all of you who are taking it in August at your schools or through another organization, this does not apply to you. The old ACT is still active for through the month of August 2025. Okay, everybody, so that's all I have for you today about the enhanced ACT. I'm going to be putting out a full ACT review series discussing general strategies, question-specific strategies, how to master your prep, and how to master taking the test on exam day. For the ACT, I will also be putting out one for the SAT if you're interested in that. Good luck to all of you getting ready to take the ACT in the coming months or the coming weeks. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this enhanced ACT, this new format, especially those of you that are preparing to take the ACT in a month and a half or so. And let me know if you have any questions about things that I didn't cover in today's exam or that you want me to cover in the ACT review series I'll be putting out in the future. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.